This tip was actually something that detectives had learned very early on in the investigation, but it was only now that the police were realizing why it was significant. See, days earlier, a neighbor told detectives that on the day that Riley went missing, they noticed a green truck in the driveway of Chantel and Andy's house. The truck was parked as far back into the driveway as possible, almost like they didn't want to be seen. And the truck bed was facing the back of the house. But what's more interesting is that when the neighbor saw this truck, it was late enough in the day that Chantel should have been at work and she would have driven there. Her car wouldn't be home, and nobody else in the family had a car. Then, right after Riley's body was found, another woman called into the sheriff's office, and she told them that the day that Riley went missing, she had seen a green truck pulled over to the side of the road right where Riley's body had been dumped. Unfortunately, the woman didn't get a good look at the driver. All she could tell was that it was a man. But the last tip about the green truck came from Andy himself during the interrogation, the one where he was caught in a whole lot of lies. During that interrogation, Andy had told the police that he had a friend who gave him rides to and from work every single day. It was a normal thing, not that notable. But you want to guess what that friend drove? A green truck. So the police filed a search warrant to go look over at the friend's house and look at the green truck. And sure enough, it had traces of drywall mud all over the back, plus more of those very, very specific particular screws. And when the police brought in those same canine dogs, the ones that helped find Riley's body, they immediately alerted to something in the trunk bed. Now, to me, that sounds like a pretty clear open and shut case. But just to make extra sure, the police pulled some surveillance footage from the different businesses and houses that were close to the construction site. And sure enough, they saw Andy. They saw Andy driving that specific green truck right to that construction site and back. But still, after all of that, they wanted more. So they called Andy in again. And they kind of kicked it off by showing Andy all of the evidence that they had against him. And he immediately started making up some of the most random stories. He painted this whole picture about being so sick and needing drugs so badly that he had to borrow his friend's truck to go get them, in the middle of the workday so that he could get his fix, all of these things. He then claimed that once he got the drugs, he saw a cop car parked nearby with its headlights on. According to Andy, that scared him enough that instead of going back to work and, going about his day, he panicked and drove off. He also said, and this is so insane, I'm having a hard time getting it out, he said he did this to, quote, protect his family. I guess because he thought they couldn't handle the truth if he was arrested for using drugs, which, how selfless of him. It doesn't really make any sense, right? And the investigators knew that this was a complete load of crap. Literally, all they had to do was check their records and see if any patrol cars had been parked in that particular place that day. Spoiler alert, there weren't. So it was such an easy lie to disprove. So Andy was finally charged with first-degree murder, concealment of a body, and child abuse resulting in a child's death. Now, at the time of her death, Riley was a freshman in high school and was ready for 4 years of homecomings, proms, graduations. People knew her to be so positive, and she was one of those people who always saw the silver lining. Even with strangers, she had a way of just taking their troubles and turning them into this glass half full kind of situation. And with the people who were close to her, like her friends, she was always reminding them that everything they wanted in life was possible and that they could do anything that they put their mind to. But I also don't want you thinking that that's all there was to Riley. She also loved cracking jokes and finding ways to get other people to smile. People would come to her whenever they were feeling down or upset because they knew that she could flip things around and lighten the mood. She also loved being the center of attention. Riley could be, a little bit of a class clown, but she also did a lot of performing. She had a passion for singing and dancing, and she would post videos on social media of herself doing both of those things. Her hope was that one of those videos would take off and, she'd go viral, make it big. So that was her life. That was her normal, cracking jokes, bringing all of this energy and excitement to everything she did. Every day was an adventure for her. Andy's trial didn't begin until September 27th, 2021, and that was the first time that a lot of the world got to hear any theories about what his motive was, why he did this, and how he did it. And the theory was that Andy was high that night.